us now is St. Louis is Minnesota Vikings senior offensive advisor, former quality controls coach, former coaching mate with Pete Bursich, former public relations intern, and current tight ends coach.
Assistant special teams in there.
Can I get a witness and a round of applause
yes!
for Eden Prairie's Todd Downing joining us in Eagan at the old Vikings Radio Network perch.
Yeah, thanks for having me up in the ivory tower here. This is quite the view.
Yeah, we love from the ivory tower, nitpicking and watching you guys do your things. Bursich was just killing the tight ends during the walkthrough.
Clearly.
He's like, who's the tight ends coach here? Look what Conklin's doing. Oh, my God.
False stepping, understepping.
That's right.
It's you got to get the pads low. Can you make Rudolph block? Can you be that guy?
We're working
to get
on it.
Rudolph to
We're
block?
working on it. I asked if I could get one for the season. He said maybe.
Let's get serious before we because you have a press conference coming up. Before we go down memory lane, skull stories and a bunch of things. Sadly, the death of Tony Sperano transpired a week and change ago. Devastated the organization. Change transpired. Clancy Barone and Andrew Janocko became co-offensive line coaches. Todd Downing, what was your title before that?
Senior offensive assistant.
Yeah, senior offensive assistant. The way I kind of phrased it, right-hand man to the offensive coordinator, John DiFilippo. Kind of like icing on the cake type stuff, getting ready for teams. So now you're tight ends coach. Mm-hmm. So overall, what's your role and how can it help the team win games?
So primarily it'll be the day in and day out preparation of the tight ends, getting them ready for the season here in training camp, honing in on their techniques and assignments, play in and play out, and evaluating the roster at that position or, giving my 2 cents where asked. And then on top of that, I'll still be doing a lot of stuff for Flip, in game plan production and all those kind of things.
Good.
So with Flip, did you guys have a relationship before you got here? Was there a comfort level here? I mean, was he the one that introduced you and brought you in, or did you know Zimmer? And how have you gotten along with Zimmer since you've met him? How's all that been going?
Yeah, so definitely my first degree of separation to this new staff was with Flip, but I've never worked with him. Thank you. I've never worked with him before. Flip and I just grew up in the game together, and both were quarterback guys coming up, and so we'd bounce ideas off each other. We're very close in age. And have similar thoughts on how the position should be coached, how offense should be installed, and schemes should be run, and so on. And so through the whole process, after my exodus in Oakland and looking for my next lily pad to land on, talking with Flip through his situation, if I had an opportunity to come home, it was going to be pretty special. And so I came in for an interview, met with Rick and Coach Zim, and the rest is history, as they say.
I can't, with all due respect, because it's his nickname, I can't get comfortable calling the offensive coordinator Flip. Again, with all due respect, I mean, it's like I moved here in '98. You were right out of high school at that time.
Right.
Flip Saunders, late Flip Saunders, coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's like Flip immortality in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, I should probably be calling him Coach DiFilippo anyway, so you can break me the habit.
But you know what I mean? It's just like it's weird from my standpoint. I was close with Phil Flip Saunders, who sadly also has passed away. But I guess that's on me, Peter.
Now, with the transition from starting in special teams, working with the quarterbacks, getting to your opportunity to be offensive coordinator with your time in Oakland, how much of a comfort level does being a coordinator shed on your ability to coach any specific position on an offense? Now, the quarterback one is the toughest, but the other spots up front, I mean, your comfort level with that tight end position, how much has that year of coordinating helped you in working with Mike Tice out in Oakland as well?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know that the tight end position is really unique in that you have to have a vast knowledge of the run and pass game because you're asked a wide variety of roles in the offense. No matter what the scheme is, every offense has tight ends that need to function in the pass game and execute in the run game and protections and so on. As a quarterback, you kind of have to get to know the whole field, if you will. You need to know everybody's job when you break the huddle, and a lot of times you're the field general out there. Coaching quarterbacks and coming up coaching quarterbacks and being trained by Scott Linehan, you learn that you better have a vast knowledge of everybody's assignments or you're going to be, behind the curve. And then, of course, being a coordinator, I was forced into knowing exactly how to coach each position. And I say forced, I was glad to do it, very fortunate to do it, but you have to spend extra time, learning the combination blocks, and the terms that the O-line uses with the tight ends and so on and so forth. So coming here and being a senior offensive assistant for the spring and just being able to observe, I think, gave me the opportunity to get to know the players a little bit at the position and step right in scheme-wise and be able to fill the shoes as best I can.
Okay, Todd Downing with Mike Tice's 2002 Vikings, Pete Bursich with Mike Tice's 02 Vikings. Down memory lane we go. Doug Bryan missing 2 extra points. in the game against the Buffalo Bills at Metrodome.
Yeah.
Was it Morton Anderson in here like 2-3 days after that?
Yep.
It was Morton, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
It was.
That's
right.
that 2002 season, how memorable was it for both you guys?
Oh my God, it was. It was unbelievable because Mike was a first-time head coach. He had never been a coordinator, so he goes from offensive line to head coach.
Yeah.
And you just never knew what Mike was going to show up. We'd have media alert day, meaning the media was here, so someone was going to get dog cussed, someone was going to get yelled at, and being quality control, as you know,
it was usually me.
If it was you or me or Panagos or somebody because you didn't dot an I or cross a T or the time wasn't exactly right, and we used to sweat all those little bitty things. That was your life. That was our life back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm very grateful for it because Mike's a very detailed guy. And was as a head coach, but you're right. You had to be on top of all the smallest things, or it was going to turn into a big thing. And so, I can remember a time. I'll share the story now that we're far enough away. I feel like it's some old FBI files that have become declassified or something. But we were playing at Detroit. I think you'll remember this story. We're playing at Detroit.
End of 02.
Yeah. And I'm the challenge guy. Okay, so I was the one that would tell Mike from the box whether to throw the challenge flag or not.
Yeah.
And I won't give you the specifics because I don't want to throw anybody else.
Was it a Chris Walsh muff punt? Was that the one?
No.
Okay,
it was a different one. But anyways, we throw the challenge flag, and I didn't have a chance. Mike's got the 6'8" wind up, and he's trying to hit Ed Hockley in the head with the challenge flag. But that thing comes out screaming, and I am naive enough to say no on the headset.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think we should challenge it.
Yeah.
Okay. My opinion wasn't asked on that particular challenge.
Okay.
We lose the challenge, and he starts laying into me. Okay. And I'm thinking, he's talking about firing me. He's talking about,
Oh, we all got fired. How many times on the plane ride home?
Blah, blah, blah.
How many times on the plane ride home did you get fired?
I've been fired a lot on the plane ride home.
Yeah.
Some for real, some not for real. But anyways, he fires me, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, well, what can I do with my degree here?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, I can go back to Eden Prairie High School.
What
and try
about
to
the
help out
Maulers?
there. Yeah, go play for the Maulers. Hope I get $5 for each completion or something. But
that's awesome.
But yeah, and so I turn, and Scott Linehan's sitting next to me, and he just motions like, take your headset off. So I set my headset on the countertop. And they're in Ford Field, and it just starts rattling like a movie, just zzz, 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 the whole way across the countertop, which I imagine he said some things about me there that I'm glad I didn't.
Oh, and by the way, Joey Harrington threw an interception to Corey Chavis late in that game, and you won that game.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
because back in 02, the Vikings had like a 16 or 17 game road losing streak from 01,
right.
Or 01 or whatever. And Culpepper took the Burke snap, got in for 2 at New Orleans.
Right.
Yep.
That season ended that road losing streak.
You remember he dropped the snap.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the first two.
Quarterback
Burke's
draw,
fault.
and he dropped
The
dropped
first
the
2-point play to win a game.
Yeah, it was Burke's fault.
Yeah,
snap was low.
it was Burke's fault, of course.
Right. Both you guys, you as a coach and or player because you played with him, and you working around him, Randy Moss, goes into the National Football League Hall of Fame this weekend. What can you guys share some Randy Moss-related memories for the audience?
Yeah, you talk about the definition of a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame. Just an unbelievable game-changing player who played at the highest level at his position, in his time in the league. And I just remember being amazed at some of the things Randy would do. You hear stories about him taking a play off or something like that. When Randy decided to go, he went, and he worked in practice, and I mean, that was probably the biggest misconception about him. He loved competing.
Yeah.
Anything he did, he wanted to win at. I remember we're down in Mankato, and we had a recovery period, or like a treatment time, and so they were swimming in the pool there at Mankato, and they had the high dive. I think it was like a 10-foot platform, and there was a diving contest.
You remember my outfit for the diving contest?
I don't.
Speedos?
I think I probably tried to block it out of my memory.
Okay.
But Randy went up there and did some Greg Louganis off the 10-footer, and everybody was just, by the time he came up out of the water, everybody was speechless. I mean, we were stunned. Anything he wanted to do, he could do. And it was
super good at basketball, right?
Yeah, very good.
Todd Downing, tight ends coach, a senior offensive advisor, correct?
Assistant,
thank you. I like advisor more than assistant.
Sure, it makes
me sounds like you're dictating tempo with others.
Yeah, that's not true, but whatever you want to call me.
Todd Downing on the 9 to noon show.
They're assistant coaches, not advisor coaches, so I think that's probably what you're.
What about the 03 roller coaster?
Well,
6-0.
Yeah.
And then you start losing to Flutie, Meyer, Hutchinson.
All backups.
You had the McCown to Nathan Poole game at the end of the year at Sun Devil Stadium.
Yeah, you and I were looking
that was our
eye
to eye on that one.
Did you ever, when you were in Oakland, did you ever walk on the field and look around and go, this is where Mike Tice guaranteed a win? Remember that?
In 03.
Yes, in Oakland.
Yeah.
Rick Meyer, yep. Yeah, that was a tough run on the West Coast that year.
It was a long one.
But see, that also was before social media. So, but, Mike, for whatever the reason, felt, well, I'm going to guarantee this on a Wednesday because we're sliding a little bit after 6-0, and, nobody's going to hear about it until we get to the game. Well, news travels fast, even without social media, and a little player named Charles Woodson heard about it and kind of took offense to it.
Sure.
So the Raiders were all fired up. But that was See, that season, you guys were at Soldier Field with 3 games to go.
Right.
And if you beat the Bears in a game where Idaho State rookie punter Eddie Johnson drops a punt at the -25, leading to the Bears' only touchdown.
Right.
If you win that game, you're in the playoffs.
Right.
And then the next 2 are let's do the best we can. So Moss goes to catch a touchdown front right of the end zone from Culpepper right at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Louisiana Lafayette rookie Peanut Tillman,
kind of his coming out moment,
strips it away from him, and the Bears won the game. Then the next week, you either killed Kansas City or Miami. I think it was Kansas City on Saturday Night Football.
Yep.
I think you hung 55 on them. Then you go to Arizona for one of the weirdest games in the world, the end of that 03 season.
Right.
What I know it didn't end well for you, but you were in Oakland for a couple of seasons.
Right.
Just overall, what was that whole experience like?
Oh, it was incredible. I wouldn't trade it for anything in my career. Not just last year, but the previous 2. I mean, such a great group of guys to work with out there, a storied franchise, much like the Vikings. An opportunity to get out there on the West Coast and be a part of the AFC West, such a competitive and fun division. I mean, it was great. Working with Derek was an incredible blessing. He's a really talented kid, I think, has a bright future, and there are a lot of people in that organization and in that locker room that I still care very deeply for and wish them the best.
Tight ends, Tyler Conklin, the rookie. For my money, I think he tore it up at rookie camp. Then he got nicked up. Now he's back. What do you think of Conklin?
I like Conklin. He's got a great skill set. He certainly showed in college that he's versatile. He's just a little bit behind things right now because of his missed time with injury, so we're trying to accelerate his learning and get him acclimated to, taking multiple reps in a row and things like that. But he's doing a nice job. I'm excited about his future.
If those look back at Cousins in Washington, now granted they're looking at Vernon Davis and Jordan Reed when Reed was healthy, but clearly middle of the field with his tight ends, whether obviously the way Washington constructed it, Kirk and his tight ends were extremely good. You think it can be close to something like that here?
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things about our offensive roster that Rick and Coach Zim have done in putting it together, is that we have a lot of pieces that have versatility, and I think it's going to be fun for us to put game plans together week to week and find matchups.
You have a press conference coming up. Thank you very much, TD.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Todd Downing.